The quality of the bokeh mode on the Xperia 5 Mark V is very impressive to me. I feel like I really wanted to test this feature out even more to see how it performs on different subjects and how you can get the most out of this feature. I recently moved closer to a forest, and the first thing I did was to put up a feeding station for the birds in the area. As a result, there are plenty of birds at the location. First off, I want to know if it's possible to take a bird photo with the bokeh mode. So my first plan goes like this. Get the phone on a tripod and place it close to a branch I know they like to perch on. Then get inside his hide and wait. I'll trigger the camera with the Sony remote and hope I can get a shot. So let's see if this works. And oh yes, it does. Bokeh is on. Time to hide. It seems like they preferred this branch right there, you can see. I've already seen them perching there like 10 times already. So I guess that's a pretty safe shot if we just move the camera, but I'll give it a little try now that I'm in the hide. Like, it's all about patience. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna reposition the camera. Raven. That's actually pretty cool. The background is very bright, so I think I need to reposition the camera a bit. Okay, I think we have a winner. If this works, the shot will turn out great. Wow, that's so cool. I think it's a bit tricky using a tripod and a remote because you can't control anything. Like, the composition is fixed and you just have to guess where the bird is perching and hope that the focus is like nailing. I'm using autofocus right now and it seems to work really good actually. It misses some of the shots when the bird is really like moving because I don't get to choose the shutter speed myself because it's in basic mode, so it does that for me. So some of the shots are not fast enough autofocus, so it's kind of blurry. But many of these shots are actually very sharp, so that's impressive. So now that we know that the bokeh mode actually works on like still birds, we can start playing around a bit. I'm gonna try something new. Let's hide. But first, I'm gonna share some tips on how to get the most out of the bokeh mode. Bokeh mode. Yeah, you have to live with me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. But so for tip number 1, and this is more of a general photography tip, that is to choose the right background. So trying to find the right background can really help to make your photo to pop a bit more and make it look more interesting. So instead of taking a photo like point and shoot just straight down to your subject, get down in eye level so you can really get the depth in the photo. And if I'm out in nature shooting, which I am a lot, I try to find trees that have this kind of sky or maybe some sun behind it, where you have small gaps between the sky and the tree, and then it will create these bokeh balls, making it look creamy and make the whole photo look more professional. And speaking of that professional look, so for my tip number 2, I can recommend to shoot at the 2x focal length, which is equivalent to 48mm on a like regular lens. So a very popular focal length for both portraits and product photography is 50mm, which is obviously very close to 48. So I think by shooting at that focal length, then having the camera process the bokeh will make it look more real than if you'd shoot at 24mm, the camera's doing the processing and then cropping into the photo. But it depends. Sometimes the 24mm one is better depending on what you're shooting and depending on what look you're after. But I tend to shoot at the 48mm most of the times because I think the bokeh effect looks the most natural and real looking at 48. And my last tip is to go in and adjust the exposure and temperature before snapping the photo. So I find that lowering the exposure a bit will help the camera to retain the highlights in the bokeh effect. But this is all personal preference, and since I'm shooting in a forest at sunset, a warmer photo typically looks better than a cold one. Let's get back and hide. Well, I'm not expecting to completely disappear, but if I can fool one of them and they're perching close to me, well, it's a win. So the plan is to basically just stand still with the phone and hope for the best, because then I can be able to kind of move the composition a bit, and I think it will be easier. If it works, I have no idea, but I guess we'll see in a minute. Okay, let's go.